Hello and welcome, Lemonistas, to the Lemon Grove podcast. I'm very pleased to welcome food and travel writer and a friend of the Lemon Grove, Carolyn Boyd. Hello, Carolyn.
Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for coming along today. And Carolyn, many of you might know, is a well-known food and travel writer, and her work kind of intersects culture, food, and travel with a particular focus on France and all its islands like Corsica. She's a author of this amazing book, Amuse-Bouche, and we'll get into that in a moment. And across this episode, we'll be talking about where Carolyn is at the moment, where she's been, where she's going, what she's working on, kind of a culinary scholarship scheme, which is really fascinating, and what's life like as a food and travel writer focusing on France. So, Carolyn, welcome. Kick off. How did you get into French and France and all that lovely thing? I mean, yes. I mean, a lot of us got into it from Peter Mail's book a long time ago.
Well, far too young for that. That's not true.
A Year in Provence. Please tell us your story.
Well, I grew up going to France on holiday, family holidays. My mum and my grandmother were strong Francophiles. And then so that sort of led to interest in the language. So I did French at University of East Anglia, and was always kind of interested in travel and really wanted to get into journalism. So I went traveling after university just all around the world, and then came back to the UK and just got more into travel writing, worked on travel magazines, and then worked on Metro newspaper. And then,
did you want to be a journalist from the outset? Was that your
I wanted
plan?
to be a journalist since I was like, reading smash hits.
The pop magazine, yeah.
I used to look
that
at the
dates you a bit, so that, yeah. Did you ever write for them?
No, I think maybe it had gone by the time I got too far into. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then music was less interesting. It was more the bylines I was looking at. And then I saw a job as editor of France magazine, and so that sort of brought me back to my degree and kind of combined all my experience up to that point. So I moved to Cheltenham, where I still live, and that's where it was based, which is a bit random, but not very easy to get to France from there.
That was like food. That was like a monthly magazine for people who were interested in maybe moving to France or holidaying there.
No, more holidays. There was 2 sister magazines about living there or buying property. Ours was really just about enjoying it. So there was a North American edition and a British edition, bi-monthly in the States and monthly in the UK. And so I did that for 9.5 years. Then I went freelance in 2016, 10 years ago. And the first job that I got as a freelance was writing a book about French food for Lonely Planet. So it's called France from the Source. And it was gathering recipes from cooks and chefs and bakers all across France, interviewing them, translating their recipes, checking their recipes, because sometimes they're written on a receipt.
Yes. And then checking them, because a recipe from a restaurant is a lot of it's, for them, it's just intuition after all that time.
Yeah, and also downsizing it from like 40 covers to 10
and then cooking in a home kitchen being very different from a commercial kitchen. That must have been a really thrilling part of your life, yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It was the best job to go on to from the magazine. And that, I mean, I was always really interested in France, in food. I interviewed top chefs while I was at the magazine, and made sure we had a really good food writer to do the food column.
Yes.
And so after I finished France from the Source, I was just freelancing. Got my job with the Roux Scholarship, and then just before the 2019, I was like, I really miss writing books. I want to do that again. So I thought,
I'm thinking you must have a fantastic little black or little blue, red and white book of content.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's what I enjoyed most about researching it. Was going to chat to producers, going to chat to chefs, just really understanding their food through their eyes. And that's where the language came back to really be a blessing, because
absolutely,
I was sort of really grateful to have got
So
to a high level.
and then you this is the book we're talking about,
Yes, How to Eat Your Way Around France. Louise Bouche.
published by Profile.
Yeah, Profile Books.
And you can see I'm already planning my next trip.
Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't have ribbons in it, isn't
It
it?
was, yes, we need about 20 for this.
Yeah.
So how did, I mean, if we start with this, because gastrotourism, people traveling for food, is people travel all over London for bakeries, for example, at the moment, and they
Mm,
stand in queues. People have always traveled to France for their food, for the food.
yeah.
I mean, going back before Michelin, there's always been an interest in French food and the way French restaurants work. So
Mm.
how did you go about researching this book?
Well, what I wanted to do, having up to that point, I've been writing about France for like 16, 17 years, and I really noticed how you can learn about other elements of France. So
Mm.
the history, the landscape, the traditions, the culture. If you know about the food, you can understand those things as well. So it was really like an entry point. So to help people get like a deeper understanding of France thanks to its food, which is
Okay.
like a really fun way to do your travels. So instead of maybe people arriving feeling a bit overwhelmed by a menu, not knowing how to choose a restaurant, things like that, I just wanted to guide them to that seat in a restaurant or to the market so they could be self-catering and know
Mhm.
what to be looking for. And then learn about the culture, not just the food culture, but the history and the landscape through those foods, because it's so much you can tell from from that understanding.
Totally. And you feel much more at home if you go to a market and you understand. If you're in Lyon, for example, you have these crazy sausages. Or and if you're into citrus like I am, you know where to go to find the citrus. And
Mm.
also one of the chapters I like in here is about sailors' cattle from the Auvergne, a
Yeah,
real old
that was one of my
traditional way of,
favourite
yeah.
stories. Yeah.
So France, I mean, impossible question. Do you have a favorite place to visit, or is it more of it
Well,
depends on the time of
it
year?
tends to be the place I've just been.
Okay,
So
yeah, yeah.
I just go. I do have quite a soft spot for Brittany because I grew up in Devon and my
Okay,
parents
yes.
are Irish, so I quite like the sort of
That
Celtic vibe
Celtic,
there.
yes,
It's a bit
yeah,
like French Devon,
yes.
and the coastline is just so beautiful, but
Mm,
it also so different for just one region. The coastline is so different
yes, yeah.
as you go around. So I
That reminds
do.
me, sorry, that there's an article you wrote a couple of years ago about a stretch of beach there, a stretch of land. You wrote it for the Financial Times, and I've still got it, thinking I want to move there. I want to at least go on holiday there. So you never know when these sort of what you write about, how it influences people.
Yeah, it's good to hear a few years. Yeah, because you think with newspapers, tomorrow's chip paper.
And so it was quite a thrill to write this book. And I know I've got it here, and I'm just going to embarrass you by reading Raymond Vlonk's Great Feast of a French Adventure. Wondrous, witty, delicious, and fun. And my favorite really is a perfect balance of history, food, anecdotes, and recommendation from Michel Roux. So, I mean, there's a lot of facts in there, but it's not really beautifully written because it gives you an insight into the people as well. Was that quite a challenge, or is that the way you kind of feel you write anyway?
Yeah, I really love just chatting to people in France.
Mhm.
And if you get them on a subject, then food is the one you need to get them on. They'll just talk to you for hours. And if you share an understanding of it and a passion and an interest,
Yes. Yeah.
the conversations can go, so many different ways. Like they're quite philosophical sometimes as well. So we were like quite deep debates
Mm.
about the meaning of French food and the protections of French food and things like that. So it was really rewarding. I find, yeah, I just loved writing. The hardest part because it's told in small
And
sections.
yes.
Because to cover more than 200 different foods, I had to be really strict about the length of each
Mhm.
piece. Sometimes I was having to sort of cram what could have been a 5,000 word chapter into like 1,000 words, and that was a bit frustrating. But then I just gave the exact "this is what you need to know" kind of
Yes. And so, how did
the
you
bones.
organize the book? Was it it's in geographical areas?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes
Be-
from Brittany all the way down to all the way to Corsica.
Okay, and so now, I mean, people can't see, but there's a lovely light behind you, and that's not if artificial; it's shining from the sun. So whereabouts are you at the moment?
So I'm in Nice at the moment. I
Okay,
came on Wednesday evening to Menton. That was the main focus of my visit, which
okay,
is where we first met.
Menton, yeah,
Yeah. And I I work for the Roux family, the chefs on something called the Roux Scholarship, and our honorary judge this year is Mauro Colagreco, who's
okay,
the chef at Mirazur, which is a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Menton.
Menton. Hmm.
And he's very passionate about the citrus fruit, and a real local hero. He's Argentinian, but he's such a local
Mm,
hero. He's really works very hard about sustainability, anti-plastic, no waste.
okay,
So he's an amazing figure, really, in French or global gastronomy. Actually, now he's got restaurants all around the world. So and then he's just opened one in Lake Como.
mm. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he's all over the place. Hard
But
man
his
to pin down, but we did.
so tell me more about Maro, because I've seen every year, increasingly, his citrus is really the way he kind of cooks with it and creates a path through the gardens. Maybe you could just have you visited Mirrors, or maybe you could just describe what it's like and what people can expect if they go there.
Yeah, so I think their main garden is being renovated at the moment, but there's the garden around the
Mm,
restaurant, which sort of goes down in terraces because Monton's very steep.
yes,
The reason the lemons grow so well is because there's cliffs to the rear that warm the groves. They protect the groves from the north wind, and then the humidity from the sea gives it this sort of unique microclimate. So of all the places in France, it's a really perfect place to grow citrus fruit.
it's
Um,
really located. Sorry, right in the far southeast corner.
Sandwiched, yeah, between the Italian border and Monaco.
Yes,
This is just a tiny little gap, and that's where it is. There, it's where it sits.
and it
Uh,
has this beautiful microclimate, like you say.
yeah, exactly. So that makes it permanent. And the lemons, I've got one here.
Cool.
The lemons
So
have a very
hold up a
thick
bit.
peel.
Right.
They've got a
Yes.
very thick peel, which is actually edible because it's not
Hmm.
bitter like other lemons. So they use the whole lemon in a lot of the recipes, a lot of the things. Amaro, obviously being sort of no waste
Yes.
principles, is really keen on that. And it's very sweet. It's not, that sort of piercing sharpness you
Yes. The
get with
sharp.
lemons. Yeah,
Yes.
it's more
A
like a sort of
tartness.
little
Yeah.
zing. So it's a really lovely one.
So you go to Menton at this time of year because there's the Fête de Citron, the lemon festival. Did you go there this year? Or
No, so we just missed it. But
very busy,
there's
but
still
you,
lemons on the tree, and so
yeah.
he took us into his garden and just picked them
All
off the trees. Oh my goodness, the smell from those
right.
lemons that he had in his garden, amazing.
'Cause-
We were filming in the kitchen as well, and the kitchen is the floor below the restaurant, and the
right.
chefs have the most
Oh.
extraordinary view. It
Can
looks
you-
back towards Monton's old town,
yes.
the Mediterranean there, kind of like shimmering in the sun. That's the best view from a kitchen I've ever seen in my life. Because most chefs are sort of in the dungeon, no windows,
Yes. Yeah.
tiny little kitchens. But this is a real pleasure for them to be working in. They can sort of see as well where their ingredients comes from.
Do they get a lot of their ingredients from their own garden, or
Yeah, not particularly that one, but yeah, the
yeah,
one that's under, and they've got another
under
one further up the
renovation?
hill, about
Yeah.
20 minutes away, that they're developing. But what they do is they only use what ingredients is available.
Okay.
So they were explaining to me how sometimes halfway through a service they might not have any more of this fish. They will replace it
Okay.
with this fish because that's what's available. They're
Yes.
not
Yeah.
pushing the food systems in a way that creates like an over demand or
Hmm.
um, sort of artificially supplying their menu. They're literally responding to what the produce is in season and available, which is just amazing skills to be that nimble.
That change. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds idyllic, but I guess it's hard work as well, and very creative work. I mean,
Mm.
in a positive way, that
This is
they're seeing what's in the market, what's come off the boats, what's in the garden.
Yeah, and they've got
But
suppliers who only grow for them because
yeah,
they've got such a small supply. They give them
And
everything off their one tree or something.
I guess because it's 3 stars,
Yeah,
world's
and it's
best
been
restaurant.
world's best restaurant, yeah,
Yes,
a
a
few
couple of
times, I
times.
think.
So the
Yeah,
people going there, they have an expectation of what they get. So if one fish is off, they just have to, okay, great. And then that's part of the story that he's trying to put across about sustainability and
absolutely.
seasonality. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real leader for that. He's head of Relais Chateau's World Culinary Council, which is a group of
Okay.
these chefs who are all around the world who are really pushing towards sustainability. And
Mm.
I think with high-end hospitality, the image is that the guest has anything they want at any time
Yes.
of the one, but actually that's the opposite of what they promote. It's very much best for the environment, what's
What
best for the environment.
did you eat there this time, or have you eaten there in the
No, I've never eaten there,
No,
sadly.
okay.
They did give us a really beautiful lunch sitting in the kitchen.
Okay.
Some of the dishes from the menu came our way, which were really amazing, really
And what sort of
special.
what sort of team, what sort of brigade does he have in the kitchen? Is it
So it's big, yeah, it's a big
Yeah.
brigade. And in fact, what was fascinating is that so many of them had worked in London at the
Okay.
Gavroche, the Fat Duck, all these, top end restaurants in London, and then
Mhm.
come there. And one of them told me that the ingredients
Yeah,
in
just
Menton was just like a different level. And I think that's the thing, like um when you come to places like this,
yes, yeah.
that's why you go to places like this, because you only get those flavors. Like you could transport these lemons, but what does it lose in the
Yes.
transportation? I think there's 30 growers in Menton, and
Mm.
yeah, they use what they make, really.
'Cause the festival, the Fête de Citron, has been going for 50 years or so, and each year there's a theme. So the Olympics, I think you and I met there, it was the operas. I
Opera,
think that
yeah,
was
exactly.
yes, and we went to see one of the operas in the old, hall there,
Yeah, the
and
Marriage of Figaro.
Marriage of Figaro, and that was just after COVID, I think, so there was lots of
2022, yeah.
problems getting passes to get into the theatre and all sorts. It was a lovely day. One of the things I like about Menton is leaving Britain in February, grey and miserable,
Yeah.
and arriving in Nice, getting the train across, and gradually seeing the sea, the Mediterranean on the right-hand side and the mountains on the left-hand side, and then arriving
Yeah,
in the festival. So what France is obviously full of festivals. There's festivals for garlic, for snails, for potatoes,
everything.
for
Anything you can
cheese.
think of. Yeah.
Everything. How do you think the kind of Menton festival um, is treated around the world? Because it's becoming bigger and bigger, more
Yeah,
and more
yeah.
popular.
It's huge. Yeah, it's a really, really big deal. 200,000 people come each year.
Wow. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but what is what is quite funny is that all the sculptures and the floats, because they create these giant sculptures, like
Mm.
size of a double decker bus, along whatever theme it is for that particular year. So we saw like a big violin for the Marriage of Figaro, didn't we? And
Yes.
all sorts of things.
And I saw Bollywood as well. Was one I went to.
Yes. But they don't use Menton lemons for those because they're too precious. So they import
Yeah.
all the lemons and oranges for the sculptures from Spain, and then
Okay.
sell them off at the end in big sacks to the locals who take them off to make marmalade and juices and
Ah.
things.
Right.
So it doesn't go to waste, but it's just quite funny that we're celebrating the Menton lemon, but
Yes. But some
with
of those
others.
structures, there must be, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5,000 lemons and oranges on
Wow,
there,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so
All tied on
well,
individually.
on this is it's chicken wire, and each one has got an elastic band around them. It's fantastically impressive.
Which is quite interesting.
So
Yeah.
Menton is special for you. Have you been to any other citrus places in France that you can think of off the
So
top of your head?
Corsica's famous for
Corsica, yes.
this is a cedrat from Menton,
Okay.
but the cedrat is um is grown on the cap course, which is the bit that sticks up in on the island
On the
at the
yes.
north. Um, Not doesn't stick up off the ground, it
No,
sticks
it's like
on the map.
it looks like a
Um,
peninsula, yeah.
yeah.
And have you
Um,
written about it in here?
yeah, exactly. There's a
Yes.
chapter about
Good
cedrat in
chapter.
there. And cedrat is actually the ancestor of lemons and limes, and
Yes, the
it's
whole
kind of
lot.
like the grandfather citrus fruit. And sometimes I mean, Marrow's team were showing us ones like they were this big, right? Sort of
Wow.
gnarly,
Yeah,
bumpy
yeah.
skin. But yeah, they're amazing as well.
And Corsica, that's I know it's slight diversion, but that's one of the places on my list to go to. And there's if I remember rightly, there is a guy who has a big collection of different citrus up on that northeast coast
Yeah, that's in the book. Yeah,
in the
exactly.
book. Yeah. And I mean, Corsica is one of those places. It's not really on, I mean, I live in the UK. It's not really on the UK's tourist map. You go to France, you go to Spain.
Before COVID, there was a lot more direct flights. Now
Right.
there's Gatwick to Bastia, and then maybe in the peak season there's more to Figaro in the south.
Okay.
But it's a bit harder to get to than it used to be.
Yes.
I think that's the problem.
And I guess you need a car to travel around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you want to get up into the mountains. That's where the food scene is really interesting in the mountains,
Okay.
because Corsican's cuisine really dates from its sort of peasant cuisine, and it's still really present. And the dilemma for Corsica is that their population increases by 10 times in the summer
Really?
with the holiday.
Okay.
So they have to import a load of food to feed all the tourists.
Yes.
But if you go out of season, you're much more able to kind of discover the real Corsican food,
Yes.
which is more like a winter cuisine, actually, because that's when they had
Okay.
time to create this charcuterie and do things with the chestnuts is a really big thing there as well. So they make this thing called polenta, which is like a polenta but with chestnut
Okay.
flour.
With chestnuts. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
And you'd recommend people to go to Corsica? I mean, it does sound
Yeah, it
like
was
a
one of my
spectacular
favourite.
places. Yeah.
But if you're interested in food, I think it's the most, I'm not going to say the most interesting, but it is one of the
No.
most interesting places because of that history
Yeah.
and because of the determination to seek out these special foods. There's a trail called the Route des Sans Antiques, and it's like a food trail all through the
Okay.
island where producers are signposted, and you can sort of drop in and meet
So we're thinking
cheesemakers or
charcuterie, cheesemakers, yeah, bread,
chestnuts,
chestnuts.
wine. There's a lovely Corsican wine.
Okay.
I visited a cheesemaker one morning, and he offered me a drink, and I said, "Oh, I'll have some coffee, thanks." And he was like, "Coffee?
Yeah.
What?"
Coffee.
And then I said, "Oh, I thought I'd offended him." I was like, "Oh, water's fine, like no trouble, no trouble." And then he
Yeah.
got out a bottle of wine. It was 10
Perfect.
10
Perfect.
in the morning. I was like, "Okay, get it now."
Based in that.
Yeah, and it's quite a mountain cuisine as well. Like the
Mm.
honey is
Okay.
extraordinary. The 6 different varieties protected by the AOP.
Okay.
The appellation d'origine protégée, and some of them are really strong taste. My daughter had some out of our cupboard the other day. She was, "Oh my goodness, it's too bitter."
So it's like, what are we thinking? Pine needles or forest or
Yeah, there's a
the
forest one and then like an autumnal one.
yeah.
Some of them were there's lots of clementine orchards as well
Okay. Okay.
on the island, so a lot of them were the clementine flowers. But yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And apparently there's in the olden days, for want of a better description, they had 2 transshumants, so they would go south in the winter to near the sea,
Okay.
back up to the level where the chestnut trees grow 800
Yes.
meters, and then in the winter, in the summer they would
So
go up to the
yes.
meadows, higher meadows. So
Have
it's
you?
quite
That's
unusual.
I mean, I know is transhumance where cattle or sheep are brought down from various pastures, and it's a whole community thing, and thousands of hundreds of maybe thousands of cattle, sheep, goats are brought down into like spring meadows and then up to the summer meadows in the mountains.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen photos and films of it. It's quite
It
spectacular.
happens all over France, in the
Yeah.
Alps and the Pyrenees
Yes.
and Provence, actually. Yeah, it's a real tradition. It's not something we really understand in the UK, I don't think.
No, I
We
think
haven't got pastures high enough, or
no.
haven't got dry fields aren't dry in the summer,
Yeah.
to need to move them to the higher pastures, which are more luscious.
I mean, France is such an incredibly diverse geography and so huge. One of my, actually, slight another diversion, one of my favourite things is to watch on TV if I'm not there, but I've been 3 times to see the Tour de France. And I think there's just a lovely way that the TV programs here, they have the helicopter and they're flying over all these castles and the river valleys and the mountains. And it's just like really well produced, and it just makes you want to go there. They don't really
Yeah,
talk about the
absolutely.
food because all the
No.
poor athletes are just eating
Energy
these
bars.
horrible gels and energy
Yeah.
bars. But I think that's one of the best PR for France that I know.
It's true, actually.
So let's quickly just turn back to the Roux Scholarship. Maybe you could just explain, and I'm gonna share something with people here, which I think about quite a lot. When we met in Menton a few years ago, we were talking about our jobs and futures and what we want, and you said a few years ago you'd written a list of, I think it was 3 things that you wanted in your life, and one of them was to work with interesting people. And then within 6 months, you were working with the Roux Scholarship team, and I've followed you on Instagram, and it does seem to be an amazing opportunity for chefs and young chefs. So maybe you could just explain how you got into it and what it is and what you do for the scholarship.
Yeah. So it's been going 42 years. It's a
Hmm.
competition for young chefs based in the UK. They compete to win the most amazing array of opportunities, like training opportunities. It was established by Michel Roux and Albert Roux in
Okay.
1984, because at that point, British chefs had such a bad rep, well, around the world,
I mean,
that they
yeah.
no British chef could get training
Oh, I
anywhere
see.
good to make them better. So
Oh, right. That's
they
interesting.
really
Yeah.
wanted to open the doors for talented young chefs to improve British cuisine. And if you look now, how many?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, even between the people who won, who we call the Roux Scholars, the winners, between them, they've got dozens of Michelin stars. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Amazing.
Um,
And yes, and you mentioned Mauro Colagreco's kitchen in Mirazor. That people are working in British kitchens, and now
there
back
had been, yeah,
and they have
exactly.
been, and now they come to work with him.
Yeah, exactly. They were more Italians actually, but
Okay.
but they,
So
but the point was they'd been in London
they've
for
been in London.
part of their career, which
They
was
felt that London offered a good training.
exactly.
Yes.
It's been going 42 years. So the best chefs in the UK are winners. Like Mark Birchall just won his third Michelin star in his
Wow.
last
Yes.
year.
Yes.
He's the first Roux Scholar to win 3 Michelin stars for his own restaurant. Sat Baines, Luke Selby, Adam Smith, Spencer Metzger, who's on Great British Menu again at the
Yes.
moment as a veteran. Yeah, I mean, they're extraordinarily talented bunch. And because they're not sort of on TV all the time,
Mm.
but they are the best chefs in the UK.
So the young chefs, are they under 25?
So there's a lot of people who do it on their 29th year and then think, oh, this is
Yes.
really good. I wish I'd done this sooner. And we're like,
And, so,
yes.
and do they get suggested by the restaurant manager or the head chef, or do they
Yeah, they
enter
it is
themselves?
quite a difficult process. So
Yeah.
it is better to have some support. Some people do it off their own backs and
Mm.
perfectly
Yeah.
able. Yeah, so I'm the communications manager. So I do the social media, the website, organise the award ceremony, organise everything that's basically not
Well.
the
Yes.
competition
Yes.
itself. But it's just so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's a not for profit. Everyone gives their time generously. It's just, yeah, it's a very special thing.
I'm
Just
sure.
feel very
So
lucky to
say I
do
was,
it.
say with this, a young guy, young lady, 27, wants to enter, what's the kind of process to get through to the final selection, and what is that final selection?
So every year they give a section of ingredients and they have to create a recipe with these ingredients. Those are blind.
Okay.
They put them into the application form, online
Hmm.
application form, and then they're blind judged. So it's completely and utterly anonymous for the judges. So that it's judged on merit alone. Then they choose 18 from those recipes and they go to the regional finals, which we had a couple of weeks ago. And then from those 18, they choose 6 to go to the final. And then the final's on the 13th of April this year with Mauro Colagreco as the honorary judge.
Fantastic.
And we've had so
Yes. Who have
many
you had?
amazing judges like Hélène de Rose and Sophie Pick,
Oh,
Michel
okay.
and César Toigreau,
Yeah.
Thomas Keller came for our 40th
So
anniversary.
okay.
It's amazing, really is.
It must be wonderful to work with these people who are so focused, so talented as well, and so hardworking and
Yeah, exactly.
creative.
Yes.
Cool. And so now you're in Nice. You've been on a trip with the Roux Scholarship to see Mauro in Menton.
Hmm.
Got your Menton lemon as a souvenir.
Yeah.
Uh,
Writing a piece for The Guardian.
for the Guardian. Fantastic. I'll
Yeah.
look out for that. And what about Nice itself? It's kind of a glamorous city. I read the book by Graham Greene many years ago, J'accuse, which was talking about Nice and its politics. And I've just recently bought a book about written by the mayor of Nice. I've forgotten his name, but he was very controversial. But he was a great gourmand, and he wrote a couple of books. I'll put
Okay, I
it in
don't know
there.
that one.
I'll
Okay,
put it.
yeah.
I'll let you know, and I'll put it in the details underneath, along with
Cool.
all Carolyn's contact details. Let's kind of finish, Carolyn, on a couple of things. So you're in Nice.
I'm in Nice.
What should people be, if they go there? What should they be looking out for?
So
What kind
you
of
should
food?
have some soccer when you come to Nice, which is like
Okay,
a
yes, yeah.
chickpea pancake. There's a stand in the Corsica layout, which is the food and flower market just in the old town, and they just cut you a slice. It's hot, it's warm, into a
Lovely,
paper
yes.
bag, and you just eat it as you wander around. It's lovely. There's a really good restaurant as well called Chez Pipo, which they do really good soccer. I think I
Okay.
might go there for lunch before I go to the airport. And then there's this cuisine Nissard, which is a particular kind of label, I suppose, for a sort of family-run local restaurants using really good ingredients. And then the salade niçoise, which is a subject of great debate.
Yes.
Escoffier added potatoes and green beans to it, which is how we know it, but
Yes, yeah.
not in Nice. No. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare. No, I can imagine that would be controversial.
Yeah, it even comes down to like anchovies or tuna, and it has to be canned tuna, and strictly speaking there shouldn't be any lettuce in it, but some people do add it, and it's the whole thing, but we just get to sit there and eat it.
Lovely.
Which is great because we're visitors.
Enjoy. Maybe there's a book in there for you on that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think Red Jackson's got that. One of my friends I saw last night was our food writer in for the magazine. I'm still in touch, and she runs a cookery school here. Her book, Niçoise, is all about the local cuisine. So that's worth looking up.
What was her name, so people can go?
Rosa Jackson.
Thank you so much, Carolyn.
That's okay. It's a pleasure. Really wonderful. Nice to chat with you.
I'm slightly jealous you're out there and what you're going to have for lunch.
I'm coming home today, though.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well, have a good trip back. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. And don't forget Caroline's book, Amuse Bouche, which I need to get you to sign.
Yeah,
but it's good. I've got lots of pencil marks in here, so thank you for writing that.
No problem.
And have a good trip home.
Thank you.
And all Carolyn's details will be down below.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.